Thank you for being here tonight. I'd like to request a motion to start our meeting.
Councilmember Harding, I'll make the motion as stated.
Councilmember Melinda Mendoza, I will second that.
All in favor, say aye.
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 So I'd like to go ahead and ask for a roll call.
Councilmember Harding, Ward 1, present.
Councilmember Hobbs, Ward 2 present.
Councilmember Brooks, Ward 3 present.
Councilmember Melinda Mendoza, Ward 4 present.
Thank you. So now I'd like to ask everyone to stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Awesome. So for this evening, what we have in regards to the agenda are some presentations. We have the consent agenda, which includes the approval of minutes, of which there are none. Department operation reports, which includes the town administrator and public works report, the treasurer's report, the public safety code compliance, some committee, board, commission, and task force reports, which I don't believe that there are any right now. The mayor's report, council member report and concerns, resident comments. Under action, we have new business, which is the proposal to install the electric meter at the Laracy lot, and then unfinished business, we have the American Rescue Plan Act realignment, and then we'll adjourn. I'd like to add to this under presentations, I guess you would call it F, just to go ahead and make clear again who has been voted. Did we vote on it, or we've already assigned the charter review committee? So I'll just go ahead and announce it again in the public meeting. Oh, yes, and then after that, yeah, okay, yeah, so that's fine. So I'd like to request approval of the agenda.
Councilmember Melinda Mendoza, I'll make that motion stated.
Councilmember Harding, I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Great. So for tonight, it gives me great honor. And I'm just so, this is one of the reasons why I moved to this community, is because of its diversity. So I've mentioned this before, I'm a New Yorker. I grew up with all different types of people. And when I was looking for a home, I specifically chose the town of Colmar Manor because I saw a lot of people that looked like me and that didn't look like me. And that to me made this town special. So for those who are watching and didn't know, this is Filipino Heritage Month. So I'd like to go ahead and proclaim through proclamation Filipino Heritage Month. So actually, can I ask you to read this? Okay.
Okay, the Town of Colmar Manor proclamation, whereas the earliest documented proof of Filipino presence in the continental United States was the date of October 18th, 1587, when the first Luzones Indians set foot in Morro Bay, California, on board the Manila-built galleon ship Nuestra Senora de Esperanza. Whereas the Filipino American National Historical Society recognizes the year of 1763 as the date of the first permanent Filipino settlement in the United States in St. Malo Parish, Louisiana, which set in motion the focus on the story of our nation's past from a new perspective by concentrating on the economic, cultural, social, and other notable contributions that Filipino Americans have made in countless ways toward the development of the history of the United States. Whereas the Filipino American community is the second largest Asian American group in the United States. Whereas Colmar Manor's Filipino community continues to thrive and grow, annually the community celebrates Christmas at the Town Hall, with family and friends from the greater Washington, D.C. area. Whereas Resolution R 032023 recognized October Filipino American History Month in the town of Colmar Manor. Now, therefore, you should do that.
I, Monica Casañas, Mayor of Colmar Manor, encourages all residents and staff to celebrate Filipino Heritage Month and celebrate the vibrant Colmar Manor Filipino community and acknowledge Filipino Americans and their historic contributions to the nation. Signed and entered this 10th day of October 2023. So I'll present Councilmember Mendoza with this at the end so that we can take a group photo. But I'd also now like to recognize Melinda's father. So um, I met Councilmember Mendoza's father, and he was a very kind and funny man. And when I met Melinda, Melinda is a very kind and forgiving person. She's always just a breath of fresh air. And I know that she gets that from her parents, her dad being one of them. I can see his face in your face. And even though I didn't know him for a long time, it was a pleasure getting to know him. And even now, when I hear from you, everything that he's done for the community, that's a big deal. And people like that, are very hard to find. So the town of Colmar Manor official citation in special recognition of Mercedarios Mendoza, Mendoza, for his dedication to the Colmar Manor's Filipino community and for being a committed volunteer to the town of Colmar Manor, presented on this 10th day of October 2023. And I'd like to present another resident with a citation. Um, I happened to meet this individual on Facebook because that's where I live my life, on Facebook and social media. And ever since I met him, I've learned more about the Filipino community. I've learned more about the challenges, but also the beauty of the culture. And so I just, you grew up here and you've contributed so much to this town, you and your family. And so I definitely wanted to give you this recognition. And I definitely would love to invite you to come up and say some words. So this is in special recognition of Patrick De Los Santos Macatanga, is that correct? Okay. For his dedication and commitment in keeping Colmar Manor's Filipino community engaged in town and with neighbors, presented on this 10th day of October 2023. So let me give this to you.
Hello, hello. There we go. So I want to thank Mayor Monica and the council and everyone of Colmar Manor for this proclamation, this citation. I didn't have anything prepared to say, but I do want to talk about just how wonderful the Filipino community has been here. I'm a product of the Filipino community of Colmar Manor. One thing, my parents, my godparents are here, and a lot of the people who helped raise me into the person I am today. And yeah, the Filipino community, it's a very rich history that a lot of people who have moved here aren't as familiar with. And so I will keep speaking it into existence, that I hope that us as a Filipino community can document the rich history that we have here before we're not able to capture those stories, especially from those that initially moved here in the late 80s, early 90s. And so thank you again. And hopefully we do the final neighbor circle, but maybe even restart um, the Filipinos of Colmar Manor organization that used to exist, and maybe the youth and the young ones can take the lead on that, so that we don't just do our Filipino Christmas parties, but we can also have other ways to represent and show that we exist here. So thank you again. And yeah, thank you.
So yeah, I forgot to mention that you've helped with the neighbor circles that were the Filipino community neighbor circles, and we still have to do our next one. So let's get it on the calendar soon. But I was in shock when I found out that the Filipino community is one of the largest in Colmar Manor in the state of Maryland. And so that's a source of pride. And thank you for all of you. Thank you for everything that you do to contribute to Colmar Manor. So if you all would like to come and take a picture, I'm going to ask Councilmember Mendoza to be in the middle and hold this up, and we can take a quick photo. So come on up. Awesome. So now the next item on the agenda is the town strategic plan. So I'll let our town administrator go into that.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Um, Since March, back in March, the town council met for a retreat. Out of that retreat, they came up with a strategic vision for the town. It was presented last week at our town council meeting. That vision was broken down into a strategic plan and goals for the town over the next 5 years is what the hope is. And so we've outlined 112 different points that we hope to achieve in the next 12 years, or next 12 years, listen to me, next 5 years in this document, but might take all 12, I don't know. We'll find out. But this is just presenting it now officially to the public for review and for their opinions on it. This isn't set completely in stone. We'll bring it back up at the next work session for public input over the next month. The new website will be going online this week. Once it's online and up and running, we'll have a form that you can fill out to offer your suggestions or thoughts on the various aspects of this. But I highly encourage everyone to look it over and to submit any input that you have on the plan so that we can maybe pass it in November and start moving ahead with it.
Yeah, so this is the first time that we have a strategic plan in the town. And one of the first things that our town administrator asked for was a strategic plan. So we actually met as mayor and council. We had a retreat and we talked about our vision for the town. And the outcome of that is this strategic plan. So it basically aligns our vision for the town along with some tasks that we need to do in order to make this a reality in the town. So as Greg mentioned, there are a lot of things in here. So explore strategies to decrease costs and increase revenue, improving town administration, improve transparency. These are just some, I'm just like picking some out. Increase the number of and improve town green spaces. What else do we have in here? Identify and promote multimodal transportation options that include transit, pedestrian, and bicycle opportunities, improve traffic and pedestrian bicycle safety, create tools to better manage development. So these are all really important things that we need your say in. So I think we have some copies on the table over there.
Yeah, they're all in the packets.
They're all in the packets. We're gonna have this online, but we need residents to take a look at this and let us know if we missed anything. Let us know if there's anything that doesn't make sense. Just give us your feedback, whether you like it, you don't like it, you hate it, you love it, let us know. We really appreciate that. So next up, we have the Larrissy Lot conceptual plan.
Yes, so this is also in the packet right behind the strategic plan, which is part of the strategic plan is to finish the development at the Larrissy lot. The Larrissy lot is next to the Taco Bell KFC. It's a town-owned property. In October, well, in early, about March of last year, the town received $34,000 in an open space grant from the state of Maryland to design and put electricity to the site and do some minor upgrades only in that grant. But out of that, in October of last year, we hired the Neighborhood Design Center to actually design a conceptual drawing of that, what that lot could look like, and gathered a lot of resident input and put it together into this drawing. And so in the packet, you'll see there's a beautiful colored photo here or colored image showing what the property could look like as a conceptual plan. And so this, again, just like the strategic plan, will be on the website, and we'll send it out to all town residents asking for their input on that as well. I will note two things that are kind of bigger things out of this plan. You know, a lot of it's just public art, new string lighting, a picnic area, game tables, playground area, adding in bike racks, some benches, and a strolling garden. But there's, I guess, four major things to take a look at. One is putting in a mobile solar bathroom so that when we have things on the site, different activities, we have a restroom there. Then adding a garage/shed structure so that we have actual permanent storage. To do those items, we actually would have to vacate a portion of 40th Place. So I bring that up as just something as a talking point for discussion. And then the other option or access point to the Taco Bell section of the property is adding a new one-way egress into the Taco Bell parking lot, kind of right by where their the entrance is to their drive-through. And so that would allow for you either go out Bladensburg or through to Newark. So those are kind of some major things that I want residents to know. We're not trying to hide them. This is a point of discussion to talk about. So if we want some of these things, we have to take away that back parking section and street that goes through between 40th and the drive-through area. And so that's something to consider.
Thank you. So yeah, so this is super exciting. Like if you haven't seen it, like this is it. So that lot that we always do our town events on, we have a design for it now. And we're on the cusp of making this become a reality, but we need your input. So I don't want to hear when it's done, oh, I don't like it. Because now's the time. Now's the time to give us your feedback. Tell us what you like, tell us what you don't like, tell us if we missed anything, give us your feedback. The vision for this is, someone mentioned it actually at our last work session. The Neighborhood Design Center called this our front patio, Colmar Manor's front patio. Because right now cars drive, right? They don't stop. They just see a lot. They just see all the fast food restaurants, but there's nothing that's attracting them to our community. This is going to attract people to our community because it's going to look beautiful. It's going to be a gathering place for our town. We'll continue to host our events here, and it's going to be a green space. So again, one of the reasons I moved here was because of the green space. So for me, this is super exciting. So there's going to be like a kids park. There's going to be picnic tables. The vision is to have food trucks come, to have music, to have celebration, except it's going to look a lot nicer than what we already have. So again, please give us your feedback. Then I wanted to go into the charter review that we're about to start. So we have been talking about this, and every 10 years, the town has to go through a charter review process. So the charter is like the constitution of the town. So every 10 years, we have to go through it, see if it works still for our needs. And then you all as residents, we all as residents, have the opportunity to question things that are in it, change it if we need to. And we all do this in committee format. So what we had asked all the council members to do, including myself, is to nominate somebody to be on this charter review committee. So we've gone through that. For Ward 1, we have nominated and appointed resident Carol Dixon to be on the charter review committee. For Ward 2, we have Allison Pages that was nominated through Councilmember Irina Hobbs. Ward 3, we have Ms. Diane Waldo. And then there has to be a council member that's on the committee, and that's going to be Councilmember Mendoza. And then I have nominated somebody. I've nominated Phil Emirates, who's here tonight, who will also be on the committee. So it makes it 5 people, which is a nice, odd, small, manageable number. They're going to start meeting. So they'll be meeting maybe definitely once a month, maybe twice. They're going to be meeting with our town administrator and with our town attorney. And they're going to start looking at different sections of the charter and make suggestions. And we're hoping that this will be completed in February, but you never know. But this is when we hope that we'll be able to either adopt or discuss any changes and recommendations that they make through this entire process. And then I've shared with the council, should be in your packet. So there was a wonderful initiative that was started by Council Member Brooks, who started a Spanish class for Ward 3. And so I think it's been, I was able to attend 2 of those classes, and I really enjoyed it, and I loved the people that came out and were a part of it. And so I've gone ahead and taken the format, and I've made a proposal that we'll call this a Colmar Manor Neighborhood Chat Exchange. So the purpose is to provide learning opportunities for neighbors to engage in simple neighborly banter in Spanish. So we had one resident who came, Mr. Rufus Williams, that wanted to speak to his neighbors in Spanish. And so he asked for some Spanish classes. And so what we're hoping that will take place through this is we'll have one person who's, well, two bilingual people who will help with pronunciation. And by the end of this, we're hoping that people will be able to understand some Spanish basics. They'll be able to talk about the weather. They'll be able to greet their neighbor. They'll be able to understand basic property terms, like their driveway, their grass, their door. They'll be able to ask for help. They'll be able to share resources, give directions, and share a recipe, because that's what neighbors do, right? They talk about the weather, they talk about their property, they ask for resources. I should have put in here how to complain, because neighbors do that too, right? They complain. So maybe in the next iteration of this class, I'll add that. I'll share this online as well. And we're hoping that in November, we'll recruit people to be a part of this for the entire town. And then we'll get started with this chat exchange in December. But if you're interested in learning more, just contact the office, contact me. We have a really wonderful resident. Her name is Sarai, and she was leading the last 2 conversation groups, and she's pretty amazing. So we wouldn't be able to do any of the things that we do if it wasn't for the residents who volunteer. So thank you for that. So next on the agenda is the consent agenda. So we have no minutes to approve. If the council wants to take a minute to take a look at the department operation reports, and then if anyone has anything that they'd like to discuss, we'll open it up for council to bring anything up.
I had a few questions on the town administrator and public safety when you all get a moment to look over everything.
Okay, go ahead, Councilmember Brooks.
Thank you, Mayor. So for the town administrator and public works report, codification, general code is still in review. What is the ETA on the codification, town administrator?
To be determined.
So
It's in their hands right now. They've had to go through and take that parking ordinance, the compiled parking ordinance, and integrate it into the plan because it wasn't originally sent over. So there was about a little over 100 questions that they had in regards to different aspects of the code, and a lot of a good 20 plus questions were related to parking, and so they have to go through all that. But I will get a better grasp on that for you.
is that like we're at 25% done, 50%, 75? I just want to understand, like, I want to manage expectations.
Oh, where we're at in the process totally?
Yeah, yeah. Like, are we
Yeah,
we
so
like
this-
right at the line, like 90%,
Yeah,
90% done, and we just have 10?
So after the questions, they asked, so they reviewed it. Once they review, they send it back. They ask a series, as I mentioned, over 100 questions related to aspects of the code, um, how we want things clarified. There's duplications of things. There's things that county code says that our code doesn't. Do we want it to mimic that? Do we want to make it our own? There was questions related to fences, where there was some contradiction, things along those lines, things that were repealed by the state. And so they reviewed for all those legal aspects. Once that gets done, they ask those questions. I respond back with help of staff. And then it goes back to them for a final review, integrating all the answers to those questions. And this is technically the final stage of it. Unless, and I say this because this is a possibility, unless there is an ordinance or aspects of the code that we wanted to change. So technically you could insert, say, a new section, update, say we updated the parking code, or we came up with a new tree ordinance. We could do that now without having to do the full process that we normally do, because all of this then will come back to us as one document, and you all will have to vote on it as a whole. And so then it would completely update everything.
How realistic is it to get this done before Christmas holiday?
Depending on their schedule, realistic.
Okay, all right, thank you. And my next question on the agenda,
On,
it said that
anything that's in the consent agenda? Oh, okay.
my next question, the website. So it said that we were going to be live on 10/9. So is that being pushed back?
Yes, Thursday.
Thursday. All right. So Thursday, and then on your agenda, it said 32 businesses registered. Where could residents get a list of those 32 registered businesses? Just for, I know the mayor had once wanted to have a list of, hey, these are the services that are in the town. These are people you could reach out, things like that.
Yeah, so the new website will have a business registry built in, and you'll be able to find all that information on there. Residents can also request that information from town hall.
Okay, so Thursday will be on the website, or they can just call the town hall. Okay, perfect. All right, thank you. Public safety and code compliance. Well, I'll let one of the other council members go if they have a question.
Anybody have any questions? Okay, go ahead, Councilmember Brooks.
Okay, so for public safety and code of compliance, in the breakdown, what's the difference between loud music and noise complaint? Would loud music not be a noise complaint?
Pardon the delay. I was doing a little bit of juggling there, but I have an answer to that. It's when someone calls in police services for police service, there's probably 100 different categories that it could be identified as. You call in and say, my neighbors are being loud, and that depending on what else you say, that may go in as a loud noise, loud party, etc. For the month of September, if I can break this out for you real quick. There's one for a party complaint. The party complaint was actually in the commercial area in the 4300 block, where there was a complaint of some folks being loud and having a party in the parking lot, and not in the residential area itself. For the noise complaints were, believe it, loud music at 3 different locations. And that got to make it clear that those are 3 separate locations, not at the same residence during the month. And I don't see the other one offhand, but I'll break it down to you. I'll send you an email with all that information.
Okay. Yeah, I was just it sounds like the way that the operator takes the call is subjective to how it bases in the categories. That's what it sounds like.
That is exactly it. And I think if I were to be the creator of all these categories, I might narrow it down a little bit, but there are several that could fit into the same, you call in about an issue, but it may go into one of several different categories.
Okay. And last question for public safety. What is unknown trouble?
Exactly that, unknown. It usually it could be a, say, a 911 hang up. You call and say, I'm at this location, send the police. And they'll say, well, what's going on? Just send the police. And that goes in as an unknown trouble. And then at the end of the call is clarified as to what that is. So the unknowns are often like 911 hang up calls, or that you just, it's not clear as to what the police are being dispatched for.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Are there any other questions on any of the other reports?
In the last part, we have committee, board, commission, task force reports.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
In the last section, we have a section called committee, board, commission, and task force reports. Are
Yeah.
those new? The commission
what?
and task force, are those new reports that will be
No, there's
briefed
no
on?
reports have been filed. There should be
Okay.
none.
All right. All right. That's all.
Okay. Are we good with the consent agenda and the department operation reports? Okay. So I'd like to request a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Councilmember Hobbs makes a motion to approve the agenda, the consent agenda.
Councilmember Brooks, second.
Is there any discussion or further discussion? Okay. So all in favor of approving, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, thank you. So now I'll go into the mayor's report. So I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so for the events for September, we had Hispanic Heritage Celebration. And so again, thank you to everyone that helped coordinate that. We have one person here, Fanny, who helped and was on the planning committee for the Hispanic Heritage Month. So thank you so much for all the work that you did to help coordinate that. And thank you to all the council members that came and spoke and were a part of it. Thank you, Phil, for being there and for always lending your support. It really means a lot to that community. In October, we hosted, excuse me, our recreation open house, which was amazing. So I want to give a huge shout out to our rec coordinator, Malik Alexander, along with everyone that helped him coordinate this, which includes Amelia, Eileen, all of our town staff that pitched in and were a part of the success of the recreation open house. So just to give you a heads up, it was the entire building was open. We had board games here in this room. We had the bouncy house. We were showing a movie in the outreach room. We have our rec room, which is on the track level for the kids. So we have a PlayStation there. This is a place that I want more kids to use to come and do their homework or just to hang out, just to be there. have a place, a safe place to be at. And in the gym, we had basketball, volleyball, and we have pickleball, which I'm so excited about. So we got some awesome lessons from our town treasurer and clerk, who also happens to be number 1 in his league. So we got some lessons from a pro, and I have become addicted. So if anybody wants to learn how to play pickleball, you don't have to be super active, and it's a great form of exercise. It's like ping pong slash tennis. Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem Mendoza played with me, and we had a blast. And a big shout out to the mayor of North Brentwood, who also came, and she played pickleball with me. Some of the upcoming events that we have in October. So on the 28th of October, we're going to have our fall spooktacular. So in Ms. Blues Park, we're going to be having a little maze, like a spooky maze. We're going to have a dog, well, not dog, a pet costume contest. We're going to have some food. We're going to be showing a movie. We're going to be doing some arts and crafts. So it's going to be a lot of fun. It's from 5 to 9, October 28th. On Halloween itself, I'm inviting everyone to come trick or treating with me. So I will have a costume on, and just like we did last year, we'll be walking down, walking through the neighborhood, just trick or treating. So if you are interested, make sure to get some candy. In the newsletter, I'll put in a sign that you can put on your door to let us know if you're participating or not. And there might be a prize for the house that's best decorated with their Halloween or fall decorations. As far as the meetings that I've had, we met with Delegate Ivy. We met with Senator Augustine, and we met with Delegate Fennell. So myself and the town administrator. We're preparing for the legislative session and with our asks for the town. And so one of the asks that we're making is we don't have space for our public works equipment. So we're getting a brand new electric vehicle, but we don't have anywhere to store it. And we don't necessarily have a place for, like, we have a shed in the back, but that's not even sufficient. So we're asking possibly for a garage for the Public Works Department, along with a couple of other asks. And I really appreciate the support of Delegate Ivy, Senator Augustine, and Delegate Fennell, who are always there when we need them. I am continuing to meet with Erica Burskiot from Seton High School to get the students there to help us at the town hall with a homework club, to help us with some marketing or communications, maybe get some internships going here, along with help with the with our community gardens. So that's going to be very interesting. And as far as administrative updates go, thank you, Chief, for sending me our emergency operation plan. So I'm going to be reviewing that so that we have, this is if something happens in our town and there's a huge emergency, like what is our plan? So I'm in the process of taking a look at that, working with our town administrator and with the staff here to look at that and have it be updated. As the town administrator talked about, we have a website that's going to be launched pretty soon. Initiatives and projects, we have our charter review. We talked about the strategic plan. We're discussing later on tonight the ARPA realignment, tree maintenance. I mentioned the Public Works Garage. We have the Fall Maryland Municipal League Conference coming up on the 14th, 15th, and 16th of October, which is next week. And so some of us are going to be in attendance. I'm a board member for MML. And something that I've done that I really enjoyed is I went on a tour of 10 different municipalities in Eastern Maryland. And it's amazing what you get to learn, and all the projects that all these little towns, smaller than ours, are doing in their communities. And so I'm coming back with lots of ideas that I'm hoping we can implement in our town. But in the meantime, I'm inviting a bunch of those mayors and elected officials to take a tour of the port towns. So the tour, in addition to Mount Rainier, Brentwood, North Brentwood, Edmonston, Bladensburg, Cottage City, and Colmar Manor, we're going to go on a bus tour to highlight the opportunity for redevelopment in our area. And so they can see some of the interesting things that we're doing. I hope that Councilmember Harding will talk about this, about our new town committee that we're trying to get up and running. I already talked about the Spanish class. Um, so crime is up everywhere. And so I'm going to be coordinating a self-defense workshop. So I'm inviting a group to come here for 2 hours to come and teach us some self-defense techniques. And I think this is just the beginning of us getting together and getting some tips on how to be safe, how to know our surroundings, make sure that our community is safe. So again, if you're not part of the neighborhood watch, there's a neighborhood watch meeting this Thursday. Please make sure to put it on your calendar and come. Ms. Blue is the lead on the neighborhood watch committee. Thank you for doing that, but it's very important that we all participate and join. Yes, so the Federal Airline Administration. So I happen to take my daughter to women in aviation and women who drone, or females that drone, that fly drones. And I approached them and asked them if they would come and do like a drone workshop in Colmar Manor, and they said yes. So I'm coordinating this with them now. This is awesome. If you know what a drone is, it's like those little airplanes that you can fly, but it's a really good learning lesson. And they're targeting minority communities to get them involved in the aviation industry. So they can become pilots, or they can work in the towers doing airline air traffic control. So you learn how to code. So these are all things that I think are necessary for the next generation. But I'm happy to have their attention and to have them come to the town of Colmar Manor. I'm continuing to work with Reverend Addison from End Time Harvest Ministries to talk about how we can engage our youth more. Reverend Addison is doing something with the youth to make sure that crime is down, and to really tackle the gun epidemic, the gun violence that's happening in the area. And so I'm meeting with her to see how she can work with the youth in our town to address this issue. Here are some pictures. So if you take a look, if you can see it, we have the Hispanic celebration at Laracy Park with Councilmember Hobbs and Councilmember Harding. And here we have Doretha, who's with the Garden Club, and she was selling mums. On the right, we have a new resident. She actually came, the second event that she came to was Colmar Manor Day, and she happened to do the scavenger hunt, and she won a prize. But this is why we do these events, to meet our neighbors and to have neighbors and residents come and speak to us. I always get comments from people wherever I am. And so that's why we host this, and that's why we should all make ourselves available so that residents can come and talk to us if they can't make it to the meetings. As I mentioned in our last meeting, I won a scholarship through the National Association for Latino Elected Officials. They paid for my room and board and my flight to Dallas, Texas. And I was able to get trained on the incident command system through FEMA. And I got a certificate. And it was really great. And this is part of the reason why I'm taking a look at our emergency operation plan so that we can be prepared. But anyone that wants to get that training, I can give you advice. It's very interesting, and it's very, very crucial. So how do I know that it's crucial? Look at what happened in Hyattsville with the train derailment. So that's an example of things that can happen in our area if there's flooding. It's important to know the chain of command and how to deal with those types of situations. On the lower right-hand corner, you'll see, I'm not sure you can really see it, but they have huge maps, which made me very proud of our town map. Our map is bigger than the maps that they have there. Yes, I thought it was very interesting that they also, I thought I was breaking some ground by doing that, but other people do it too, but it's okay. So when I said that I was traveling throughout Eastern Maryland to take a look at some of the ideas and things that people are doing, on the top left-hand side, you'll see a food pantry. And I love this food pantry. I think that we need one here in town. So I know that we have a wonderful neighbor on 39th and Newton that gives food from her front porch. And I'm wondering, how can we take that to the next level and have a food pantry, because there's a need for food for the families in our community. And so I posed a question to the American Legion to see if maybe they have space for this. but I'm thinking through how we can have a food pantry in our town. Um, on the lower left-hand side is the town of Ridgely. In the middle, I think that's the town of Chestertown. I'm not sure, but they're doing some amazing things. And the towns, again, as I mentioned, they're smaller than ours. On the right-hand side, that gentleman from Sudlersville, he actually was very familiar with Colmar Manor. This is 2 hours away from here. But this is just to show you the reach that this town of Colmar Manor has. People know us and they love us. So again, I love going out there the spreading the message about our town and how we're small but very mighty. So Delegate Ivy, I'm so thankful for him. He sent us all an email inviting us to come out and do a walk. He invited the Secretary of the Department of Natural Resources. I'm a little surprised that the the green team or people that were part of the resist who were fighting the gas station didn't join us, because this would have been the perfect opportunity to meet with the secretary and to meet with other elected officials to discuss this. So I had asked Delegate Ivy to come before the actual walk with the secretary to take a look at the car wash so that he could see firsthand the vacant lot that's just laying there being undeveloped. And so it's important for me to get these elected officials to come down here and see what's happening and to ask them for help. So I don't know if you saw on the news that Councilmember Crystal Oriata has proposed a vacant lot tax, or I think like a fine. And that's something that we've been discussing here in the town as well, and it will happen. But we're also trying to think, who can we invite? How can we purchase, if we wanted to purchase that piece of property? Who can we invite to develop on that property? Because it's it, I put it on my Facebook. We have greedy landlords that are stifling the development of our community, because it's not just Colmar Manor, it's the entire region. So again, in the future, I'd love to have anyone from the resist group, the green team, to come and talk to people. That's why we invite them into the town. What I was super excited about was that I saw the Port Town sector plan. So we're hosting a meeting for the Port Town sector plan, I think in December? Okay, in December. So that's again where we invite all the residents to come and give their ideas as to what they want to see in the area. So this all has to do with zoning, how we zone for our community, who we want here and who we don't want here. We know we don't want a gas station. So then what do we want? So that's a great opportunity to come and give your opinions. And on lower right-hand side, you'll see local mayors, locally elected officials, the delegate Ivy, Delegate Fennell, and the Secretary of Natural Resources. And Fanny, there you are. So these are just some random pictures. Recreation Committee met to talk about the harvest, the fall spooktacular. So it was awesome to get everyone's ideas. Here we have Janelle again. She's amazing. And it's when we meet those residents, it's about getting them engaged and getting them signed up to be part of committees and to have them help and be a part of the community, introduce them to the community. On the lower left-hand side, that's a drone tent. So that's part of the FAA, the event that I went to. And so I want to bring that here. And then on the lower right-hand side is Reverend Addison's event in regards to the Port Town youth and how we address the gun epidemic in the area. These are some pictures from the recreation open house. So we were playing cards. The officers were here playing Jenga. Here's Dan with his shorts and his paddle playing pickleball. It's so much fun. And so now I'll turn it over to the council members. But before I do, I just want to say thank you, Malik. Thank you, Melinda. Thank you, Irina. Thank you for your consideration and respect in sending me these updates. You know, I have a very busy life. I have a child, I have a husband. Before I came to this meeting, Councilmember Ivy invited me to an event. And so I appreciate that when I ask you to send me stuff, that you send it to me in a timely manner. So thank you for doing that, because I love this PowerPoint presentation because we can save it on the website and the residents can see what it is that we're focusing on and a part of. So Thank you for respecting me, respecting my time by sending me your updates. So, Ward 1, take it away.
All right. Oh, yeah. Wow. All right, Councilmember Harding. I'll do my Ward 1 report. I'm going to slice and dice through it. I know she has my stuff up there already. There's been a lot of things happening inside the town. It's been very exciting. A lot of events, a lot of activities. I'm really proud to be at them, enjoy them, but I personally would like to acknowledge Ward 1 resident as well as our recreation head, Amelia. Amelia, I don't know if you're listening out there, but I really appreciate what you do, as well as our Hispanic Outreach Committee for the events that they put on inside the town. I got to meet and greet a lot of new people. I've got to experience a lot of Hispanic culture and enjoy a lot of good Hispanic food. But in general, it's just an opportunity to engage with the broader community as well as appreciate tradition and culture. So that was very meaningful for me. On another note, as the mayor just said, crime is up inside of the town. I'm not sure if you all have heard that there was a robbery. There were 2 residents within our neighborhood that were robbed at gunpoint. And I was able to speak to them and just really get their observation and reaction on things. And I didn't want them to have that concept of the town that this is something that happens to them, or uh, that this is just something consistent, because it was very one-off. And I believe that our police, on their staggered schedule that they're working at now, are very effective and efficient at what they do. Um, but to furthermore on that, I believe it's within us to keep ourselves safe. So lock our doors, be mindful when we're out at night doing things, and be prevalent inside of these situations. Call the police. Our police are here. It was really unfortunate to speak to them. If I just give a personal anecdote on it, they were very scared. They were scared of just their safety on their block because it happened so close to them, and just what people may do, because they left. There was no injuries, there was no problem, but now they know this is their house. So I generally ask everyone to be cautious. Lastly, the mayor's trying to push me into this thing. I've been having discussions with residents on creating a group or committee based around creating a safe space for African American issues and just preservation of history, and as far as it goes inside of our town, and the broader issues inside of America and our culture. But we're still fine tuning the intention and getting people to see if they're really interested inside of this. So as I further the conversation side of that, I'll expand it to the broader Colmar Manor. I just want to get a gauge of how we're going to go about this so that there's structure. But in general, if there's any committees that people want to be involved in, please join them. And if there isn't any that are there, create it. I feel like we are a town that's growing. We're getting a bunch of diverse type of communities. I was in the same meeting approached with the idea about a parent committee, which I thought was amazing. I've never heard of that inside of the town or around. So I just encourage everyone to get involved inside of town. There's a lot of things happening. There's a lot of things to be involved with, and we want your voice inside of these things. And that's the end of my report.
So, Ms. Williams, the robbery took place on 39th Avenue, one house down from mine. Okay, Ward 2.
I also wanted to say thank you to all the volunteers, to all the organizers for Hispanic Heritage Month. I enjoyed experiencing the food and the culture through dance. And also, I wanted to mention that there is diversity within the Hispanic community, and that all of the cultures presented in our community have something additional to bring and to offer. So I'm happy that we also doing, as Mayor mentioned, that and with the help of Councilmember Keith Brooks, we are doing the Spanish classes, and we're doing it through a medium that is engaging and is conversational, and also is does not cost a town much money. And I appreciate all the volunteers who help us that, and encourage other volunteers to come forward if you know Spanish and you would like take turns rotating teaching a class. That is very meaningful and very important, to again to be able to understand each other, your neighbors, and to communicate. I also wanted to thank our code inspector, Mr. Freddie Rosales. I was glad to see him working on the streets late hours. He is apparently accommodating people's work schedules and stopping by to talk to neighbors. And I'm really happy to see that people respect or listen to the inspector. And and it's really hard to, Mayor presented such a wonderful report. It's wonderful to see so many projects planned and so many things happening in our town. I really hope, I'm saddened to hear that the crime is on the rise, and I know the trauma that it can bear for people experiencing it at least once. I really hope that was as a town we can look after each other, look after our neighbors, work with our police, so that it won't happen in our town. This concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. Ward 3.
Hello. So for Ward 3, I wanted to first start off with resident concerns that I've been made aware of. So that trying to investigate avenues to help reduce their taxes. A couple of ideas are one-time rebate, a couple of ideas are reduction in the overall rate, and a couple of ideas are looking into tax credits. But some of the concerns that residents come up to me about are the town leadership approving wage increases last year's budget for the 2024-2025. However, their taxes aren't reducing, and just trying to understand how the town council can help residents in that aspect. Another item was on the noise complaints. So there's a resident that has been having multiple noise complaints. The property has multiple cars on the grass, and I know we've put it in the newsletter, but just a heads up to all residents to be aware of the codes and try to be as neighborly as possible. As we do have Freddie Rosales, and he'll help us educate, and then after educating, help provide citations. But we like to educate our neighbors, and we're all in this together. So let's work out as best as possible. Regarding absentee property owners, I know that the mayor mentioned that. So vacant properties can undermine the health of an area through unsanitary conditions and potential injury. Blighted and abandoned properties decrease surrounding property values and harm health of local housing markets, and reduce local tax revenue because of their absentee. So some of the things I was thinking that we could do further, we've already reached out to some of the property managers, or some of the property owners. Some of them are hedge funds, some of them are development companies, but they could go through the route of condemnation proceedings. So that might be something that we can work with the town administrator, clerk treasurer, and attorney. Vacant property receivership is another one. Creation of a land trust, and then code enforcement coalitions may be of an opportunity. And then on the request for the African American Committee, thank you, Council Member Harding. We weren't sure if you were going to join, so we went ahead and started and finished. But it was an interesting conversation of one, why we would need a African American committee and what were some of the concerns. So I know that resident, they're going to look into a couple of other topics, but like you said, one of the things that we did narrow down on was there's some residents who are single parents and maybe having some type of activities that helps reach out to single parents was one thing. And that way it's not specific to a certain group, but is ethnic or racial group. It's kind of a little bit broader. So that was one thing that we had talked about. And then as far as health, so the Prince George County's Memorial Library System was awarded $500,000 from the FCC Affordable Connectivity Grant, which they're using to provide a discount of up to $30 per month towards internet service for eligible households. So if you are in need of internet, some type of discount, please reach out to them. So that's one good thing. Another thing is we're approaching fall, so get enough vitamin D. As the days become shorter, natural light can lead to a lack of vitamin D, so try to get outside in the sunlight for 15 minutes per day to get your fill. And lastly, on the health side, schedule any checkups you may have missed over the summer, staying on top of your wellness visits, as well as any vaccines you might need is key to staying healthy. From a financial perspective, there is the Compete pilot program, which that helps distressed areas recompete and provide people with good jobs. So that's something that maybe when I get a moment, I can reach out to the town administrator and see if we can go for that. Also, from a financial perspective, check your credit report. So we've just gotten through the summer months and vacations, so it's easy to forget and monitor your financial account. So let's stay on top of that. And then I know it seems a little early and April is a little bit down the road, but plan ahead for your tax return. So reach out to any CPAs that you know, any people who prepare taxes, and figure out ways that you can help reduce your taxes now before it gets closer to that April deadline. And then finally, on the financial side, set a holiday budget. I mean, we're just months away from the Christmas holidays, and it's good to have a budget. That way we stay in the green and don't get in the red. So definitely start planning your holiday budget. And lastly, my section for legal. So the Bag It Right, Better Bag Bill. So that is the Prince George County's recently passed legislation prohibiting the distribution of single-use carryout bags to consumers at retail establishments. That'll be effective January 1st, 2024. So if you don't get that, just know that starts January 2024. Foodware. So that is to reduce waste. Started on June 1st, Prince George County's food services business can only provide food serviceware to customers upon request or at self-serve stations for ready-to-eat foods. So this is another way we're trying to combat global warming and overproduction of waste. So definitely take your part where you can. And yeah, thank you again for the Hispanic Heritage Day event. I went to it, looked like all the kids were up front dancing. They looked like they were having a good time. So it seemed like it was a good event. So that's all for Ward 3.
Thank you, Councilmember Brooks. You gave a lot of information, and it would really help if you would have sent that information to me so I could put it on the PowerPoint slide so that people could follow and they can look at it later on. Mr. Baden, can you address, well, the other thing I wanted to make clear is if residents have issues, if you want it handled in the moment, call the police or call the town hall and speak to the town administrator. We need to keep a log of it. And so I'm urging everyone, call the police if there's loud music, or call the town hall if there's an issue that you need addressed. Okay. So Mr. Baden, can you go over the resident request about the salary increases? So I don't know how much we increased it, but you probably have that information. Do you remember?
I think it was 5%. I think it was 5 for majority of town staff and then 10% for one individual.
Correct. So at the beginning of the fiscal year, there was allocated a 5% increase for the town employees and then 10% for the town administrator, and they all went into effect July 1st of this year.
So why do we give increases to people? Or why do we give salary increases?
Usually twofold. One is, the cost of living increases. And last year, the cost of living increased over 5%. It was closer to 8% at some points during the year. So, by giving people cost of living, it keeps their purchasing power the same as it was in the prior year. And then you also give merit increases, based on performance. So there's two types. We've normally not given cost of living. We've just given a combined increase, which averaged between 2 and 5% per year. So it barely keeps you up with the cost of living.
So one of the things that I've done and that I continue to advocate for is our town staff. And we want to keep talented staff in our town, people who are dedicated and are doing a good job. For example, our town administrator, can I say how much he makes?
You
I mean,
can. It's public.
So our
That's
town,
not
it's public
necessary.
knowledge,
That's
our
not-
town administrator makes $90,000 and we're paying him through ARPA. On average, town administrators make $120,000 a year. So we have a town administrator. Yes, he's new. He's new to the position, but he has a vast amount of experience and knowledge. And we're lucky to have him because a lot of the projects that are being pushed through are because of our town administrator. That's number one. Number two, it's hard to keep staff at the town hall. It's hard with the wages and the salaries that we offer them. And so I try, along with some council members, to retain our staff by giving them, for example, Veterans Day, giving them Columbus Day / Indigenous People Day. We are giving them the week of Christmas, which is really only 3 or 4 business days off. We did the same last year and it worked out fine. So it's always about finding ways to really hold on to our staff and make sure that they know that they're appreciated. I don't think that a lot of people see what I see. I'm here on Mondays and Wednesdays, and I'm here in the evenings, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. I see how they work and I see all of the commitment and the things that they do. So I always try to find ways to figure out how can we do this. And as a matter of fact, we actually applied for a program through Employ PG to get some money, some grant funding to help offset some of the cost of our new public works supervisor. So it's about thinking of innovative ways to fund the staffing at our town hall. So I just want to make all of that clear. Ward 4.
Just want to thank everyone for being here this evening, tuning in and attending in person. A happy Filipino Heritage Month. It was really nice to put those citations out there, and one that we got to accept on my dad's behalf. I only have a couple of things for my ward report. Excited about joining the Charter Review Committee. I'm the only council member that put my hat in to to join this committee. Everybody's been appointed, so it looks like we'll be scheduling sometime soon in the next couple months. I've noticed, and this is a trend that happens every year, and I know I talk about it all the time, just the ongoing traffic that happens in the morning and in the evenings, and just to slow down There are a lot of children, and not only children, there are adults that are commuting in the morning and in the evening. So just be respectful of each other and just to slow down. I mean, we have stop signs for a reason, so try to stop at the stop signs. Uh, the last thing I just wanted to thank everyone, just express my sincere gratitude and appreciation to each and every one of you, not only in Colmar Manor, but throughout the community that has just expressed so much support to our family during my dad's passing. Just means so, so much to all of us, the Mendoza family, that there was so much support. So I thank you, and that's all.
Thank you, Councilmember Mendoza. I just want to say thank you again for sending me your updates. Again, you're respecting my time, and you're keeping us rocking and rolling so that people can see what's happening and there's a record of it. And there's a lot of useful information that people can look back on. So thank you for respecting my time, Irina, Malik, and Melinda. So next on the agenda is resident comments. So anybody that would like to make a comment either online, just raise your hand, or in person, just walk up to the mic. Please state your name and the street that you live on.
I don't need. um. Oh, for the Zoom, okay. 1, 2, yeah, he can hear me. I do have a concern because I've been complaining about lighting a lot, and someone sent me a report where there was money in the budget for lighting, and you voted to take it out to buy furniture for the town hall. That's a concern to me. Let me see if I have a minute.
I can address that. That was done in the budget process. That would have been December. So that you're a few months off from that. But however, in the ARPA realignment that we just proposed at the work session, we added, is it 20,000 or 10,000? It was $30,000 over 3 years to add lights and to fix things because of your complaints.
But I want to also make clear, Mr. Rufus, I hear this a lot from certain people about the furniture. But I want to make it clear again, to make it clear. Our administrative office and our conference room had disgusting carpeting that had stains. People were getting sick. So it was really, this is a representation of us as a town. It was embarrassing to bring people, other people to come and visit us. And I meet a lot of people and I invite them to our town, a lot of people. So we fixed the main office and we fixed the conference room to make it more functional for what we intend to use it for. So this idea that we're maintaining the building, and we have to maintain the building. We painted this room. We painted the hallways. We redid the floors. And mind you, we hire people from this town to do that. We don't go externally. So this notion that a couple people keep on bringing up in regards to the furniture, I think it's a fallacy, because it's improving and maintaining our town hall.
Well, I'm a building engineer, so I understand maintaining buildings, and I don't have a problem with that. I just was, maybe I was misinformed, but I was told that there was money in the budget.
It sounds like you were misinformed, and I can take a guess onto who misinformed you.
Okay. It was also brought up about the trees. The tree in Mr. Beaky's yard. The other day, a great big old branch fell down over there. I know it's not my house, but still, I don't want to see somebody get hurt from a big tree limb falling. it's just, I don't know. Are we proposing money?
So
for-
again, at the last work session, this was discussed and passed. The town council has approved
$20,450.
for 9 days. The tree company is going to go through every piece of right of way in the town to trim trees over the right of ways. And we specifically outlined that tree as being one that needs to be cleaned and cleared up. But I do want to make it very clear that if there are limbs over the property line of any part of a tree, they're the responsibility of the homeowner. And so in this situation, we're going to remove dead wood from that tree, but we're not going to be trimming branches from it or cutting it down because a resident doesn't like it.
Okay, now.
So
trees-
just so you know though, if it's on your side of the property, you have every right to trim it. And you also have a responsibility to do it. It's not just the town's responsibility to do that.
Okay, so when it's there, in my case, it's in the park area, but extends over in, coming through onto my side of the property, whose responsibility is that?
Yours.
Although it's in the park and
It's
it's coming through
actually-
my fence.
Correct. This is case law. I mean, we can provide you the case law for it.
If I could just expand on the tree work that's going to be done later on this month. So the same goes for the town as well. So the tree company is going to be coming through, and any of the town trees or individual property owner trees that are on the town's property, we will be trimming those trees. So anything over the road is going to be trimmed at a height of 12 feet, plus any dead branches in the trees will be removed, and anything hanging over the sidewalk will be cut to an 8-foot height. So any resident trees that are bushes that are infringing on the town sidewalk, they'll be cut back to a height of 8 feet and out of the walkway of the town. So, you know, we're taking that seriously as well. And as the town administrator said, I think it's 8 days that they're scheduled for, and there will be signs put up on the street. So, you know, now's a good time just to make everyone aware. You know, if you see those signs, they'll go up a day or two before your street's slated to have the trimming done. Please, you know, make arrangements to park somewhere else that day or those days that your street is scheduled for, so that we can get the work done as expeditiously as possible and not have to extend the amount of time that the landscape company will be here.
Okay, and then the driveway that goes into the park, that's considered town, right? I thought that was park.
You're talking about back here?
That is
this
the
road?
Maryland National Capital Park and Planning's park. The town doesn't own a park.
Okay.
And actually, a lot of the property directly behind, I'm not exactly sure where it falls by your house exactly, but a good portion of that property is actually still part of the cemetery. Correct.
I think mine is, but anyway. There was one other comment. As far as the parking is getting a lot better. So I want to thank y'all for that. Oh, I keep saying I'm not getting emails. I'm getting emails from everybody except you all. Y'all saying y'all sending me emails because I ran into you the other day. You said
Yeah.
send you an email about the Spanish classes.
Yeah.
Can you call during the workday and let us know so we can do that? Because I can't add it to the list right now.
But you know what I'll do? I'll call you and then we'll figure it out together, because I want you to be a part of obviously the Spanish class. So I'll call you, and if you still have those sheets, I want some sheets.
Okay.
But the other thing I wanted to just go back to in regards to the trees. So this tree discussion, it's very important, okay? Why is it important? Because we're considered a tree city USA. So we actually take pride in the amount of trees that we have in our community. We're actually planting more trees. This helps save energy for a lot of the homes, and it gives us shade. So I think that that's a further discussion that we need to have, so people understand the role of the trees in the community, the responsibilities of the trees in the community. And for instance, like that tree, as I mentioned before, for your neighbor, like we had an arborist, a trained professional, take a look at that tree. And he said, it's a healthy tree. This isn't the type of tree that you want to cut down. So there are other towns. If you take a look at Brentwood or North Brentwood, They go nuts when people cut trees down. It's like the biggest debate in the world when that happens. So I think we should have that discussion maybe at a separate like public hearing or something to talk about the role of trees. But then also I have been mentioning this is that we should have some type of a tree program, and the town administrator is actually looking into that to help, with the maintenance of the trees and whatnot. But there's other creative things that we can do as mayor and council on how we can spend our money to help people maintain trees and their lawns. So I'd mentioned it to another resident that we can have a program possibly that'll help seniors upkeep their landscaping if we were to go with the release the prisoner release program that the state of Maryland has. It's an option. It's something that we can do, but it takes creative thinking, and sometimes you have to set aside a budget for these types of things to achieve your desired outcome, right? So that's that's what I'm saying. Um, so that's it. But I'll reach out to you, Mr. Williams.
Okay, I'm just, like I said, about the Spanish classes, because I'm,
Yes, did you see the proposal and what we're thinking
Yeah,
about
I see
doing?
it.
Okay, good.
that's it. That's why I'm
Do you like
asking
it?
about it. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
I'd like to find out more about it.
You're
That's why
gonna
I'm
be
asking.
you're gonna be my first sign up.
Okay.
All right.
If I
Thank you,
get the
sir.
email.
All right.
Hello, Mayor and Council. I'm Mrs. Blue from 3900 block of Newton Street. Oh, you can't hear me? I'm sorry. Yes, I want to thank you for cleaning the building. It was well overdue. Thank you very much. And I want to say thank you for the town administrator. We had our senior meeting today, and Greg is always there. He's doing everything for everybody, and he presents you with a beautiful smile. And I just want to say thank you, Greg, for all the help and helping with the seniors. Thank you, Chief Stone, for your police out there patrolling the AM and the PM, and whatever time they're out there, they're working, and they make themselves noticeable. They stop and talk and chit chat and, you know, trying to learn and know everyone. But the streets, we still got the sub pumps coming from the sides of the houses. The water's running down. It's getting ready to get cold. So that's going to be a sheet of ice. And we don't want to have someone fall as it did in the past. Not only that, we still have the mailbox. It's the little library beside the sign down there needs repaired. If you go to reach in there, that glass is broken, so that needs to be repaired too. We have a new little girl on 39th Place born, and I want to welcome her to Colmar Manor and her family. And stop and think about the sick and the shut in. Mrs. Cade is recovering. She's out of the hospital. And we just want her to know that we kept her in prayer and we think about her. And thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Blue.
Hello, I'm Pamela Alston from 4206 Newton Street. Looking at this project, I know it's not ready yet, but the question is, how is this going to affect the taxes of the residents on Bladensburg? Yes.
No, the hope is that it's all grant funded. I mean, other than the only thing that, I mean, it wouldn't raise taxes. The only maintenance, I mean, we mow the lawn, we clean it, the town staff does, but it wouldn't have impact taxes in terms of raising the taxes.
Our
So no,
taxes are
what you're
pretty
seeing in
high.
the design, design's being paid for by a
I
grant.
mean, the whole project.
Yeah,
once you
yeah.
put
So
it
far,
up,
everything's been
is it
put up
gonna
by a
change
grant.
the taxes,
No,
housing
no, that's
taxes
not the
or
hope.
anything?
Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
Again, what Ms. Blue was touching on, as the street, our sewer system, nobody sweeps the curbs. But I mean, after the trash man leaves, there's paper everywhere. People cut grass, leave it out in the street, everything. I would think, town maintenance would at least, make sure the drain not covered. My neighbors went out and they spent about an hour cleaning off one of the grids and whatnot, because my house has flooded at least 3 times.
So why has your house flooded 3 times?
I mean, the drain's not open at all. It's slow drain. It causes slow drainage in the house and when you have bad storms.
So do we have our public works sweeping? I believe they are sweeping the streets, aren't they?
No, we had a dead rat laid out in the street until it stopped stinking.
Okay, so I'll make sure to, so we hired a public works supervisor who started about 2.5 weeks ago. We have been short-staffed ever since Mike retired. So his name is Al. And so we've tasked Al with a lot. But I will definitely put this on his radar. So we actually have a machine that we just purchased. It was cheap. It was like $60, 30. Oh, oops. So not sorry, it was $200. And it's a street sweeper. And so I'm gonna ask Al to put that in the rotation, along with the regular street sweeping that I've seen them doing it, but if it needs to be increased, yeah. But yeah, we'll definitely put it on the.
I did have during the interim when the supervisor wasn't here, we had a temporary employee, and he went out and cleaned all the handicap ramps in town, and some areas, some streets, but he may not have caught all of them because he was walking around doing it on a.
I mean, they drive through the city all day long. And
Yes,
I
doing
seen
work.
them watch the trash follow the truck.
Points taken.
Just make a note.
But on a future note, the town administrators of Bladensburg, of the port towns, we've been discussing ways of working together, and we are looking at trying to find a way to get street sweeping equipment that could be utilized between all the port towns. Because street sweepers at minimum are probably about $200,000. So that's not something we can afford.
Is the drains,
Yeah.
on the curbs.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
This is also a note. I know it's not going to be popular to say, but residents also have a responsibility of cleaning in front of their own houses. This isn't fully on the town to do that. If you take pride in your home and you're keeping up your yard, keeping up the little piece in front of the street is something people should do as well, because as the Ms. Alston just pointed out, it all goes downstream, so to speak, down the road, collects in the storm drains, and causes bigger problems if you don't help maintain that.
And so thank you, Miss Alston. This is the first time that I've seen you here, so I appreciate it.
Excuse me, Mr. Williams, would you quit waving papers at me during the meeting like we're having a conversation? This is a public meeting. Respect that. No, you're not. When you're waving this, going, when's this happening? You had your chance to speak at the microphone, but you're waving a piece of paper at me while the mayor is speaking. It's very disrespectful.
Mr. Williams, it's okay. What would you like to discuss? What question do you have? Wait, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. Oh yeah, so that's next. So we're gonna talk about that next. Yeah? Okay. Any other resident comments? Anyone online? Anyone? Anyone that's here? Okay.
Yes, good
Ms.
evening. I'm
Williams, go ahead.
sorry. Yes, I was trying to get online. I thank you, first of all, I'm trying to put myself on video. Oh my gosh. I'm having trouble. Oh, here we are. Oh, I didn't even mean for that to show. I appreciate it. Thank you. And thank you for interceding for the town administrator, because that wasn't looking good publicly. I appreciate that, Mayor. I wanted to thank you and the town council for the cat the cat lives, or the cat, I'm sorry, Miss Leslie. I'm just going to say Miss Leslie, because she's been in contact with me regarding the cats and has caught quite a few cats. As a matter of fact, on yesterday, she called me and she asked if she could put a trap down. The first time she put a trap down, she caught quite a few cats. Okay, she caught two. This yesterday when she called me, she caught two and she sent me a picture. She was ecstatic, and so was I. There were three cats that she caught across the street at the empty car wash area. So that was quite exciting because there's still lots of cats in the area, and apparently there's still somebody who's doing a lot of feeding. And these cats, they're all looking the same, so they're reproducing one with another. Okay, so I just wanted to. I'm really excited about this cat project here, and it seems to be working. So I wanted to say thank you for that. I was very appreciative of that. Um, and I've lost my train of thought with some of the other things. So I'm just going to let this pass right now. But I did want to get online and thank you for that.
Thank you, Mrs. Williams, for reaching out and allowing them to do that. Laura did email me this morning to let me know that she caught two of them in your yard, and let me know also about those ones at at the corner of the old Quinn property. I'm going to make the property owner aware of that situation because they are clearly living in and around there, and we've also found a deceased cat on the property for quite some time. But just to let council know, as of this morning, we've hit 57 cats and kittens as part of the program of being caught and released. And they said the last three, there's only funding for 3 more cats, and the last 3 will probably be done in the next week. And out of that, where was it? Oh, never mind. I thought I had the adoption information in here. I don't. Never mind. But they've adopted out quite a few cats or kittens out of the process, not cats, but the kittens.
Okay, so maybe as we look through the realignment of the ARPA funding, we can talk about that again if it's something that has proven to be proof of concept. If it's proven to be something that has worked, it should be something that we consider funding again. Anyone else have any comments?
Mayor, if I may interject one more
So,
time, please.
yep.
I know what it was that I wanted to say. I have apologies for not having to make that meeting with Senator Ivy and concerning the car wash, okay? Because there were some things that were going on months in advance that I could not make. So
Okay, so
I
you were
just
made
had,
aware of it then. Were you made aware of it? Because I was
yeah,
wondering, I'm like,
I was,
man,
but
like
it
nobody
was
nobody
kind of like at
came.
the right. I was, but it was kind of like at the last minute, and so I was not able to not do what I needed to do. So because it was other commitments. So yeah, yes.
Yeah, I think that there's going to be a lot happening in the town in regards to development because of the speed of change that's happening. Also, the whole Port Town sector plan. And I've gotten the eyes of a lot of people on that piece of property. So I'm hoping that something will push through. But again, I can't be the only one. So, like, I send out the invitation to people hoping that they'll come and so I'm hoping if we invite them again that other people can join too because we all have to work together to solve these issues in our community. Anybody else? No. Okay, so next on the agenda is we have two under number 10 action. We have new business and unfinished business. For the sake of time, which is it's interesting because it's only 8:40 and we normally go on until like 10:30 or 11. But I would like to ask, or I would like to request a motion to move to table the American Rescue Plan Act realignment. Huh? Oh, okay. So let's just start with new business then. Okay. So new business proposal to install the electric meter at the Larcy lot. I'll give it to the town administrator.
Yes, thank you. So as part of the discussion of the literacy lot I mentioned earlier, part of the grant funding we received from the open space grant was to install electricity at the site, as well as the design. And so this is the proposal from Northeast Electric, the electric company that we utilize, to install a meter in at least one outlet currently at the location, and working with Pepco to install that to allow for power to be at the location. This only includes the one outlet because we need to know where the other outlets would go in order to run the full electricity at the site. And we're currently still in the design phase. So this is only so that we can get a meter and some electricity to the location, but for future expansion once we move on with the project. There will be charges from Pepco that will come forward. We do not have those at this time, but this gets us started with at least their portion of the project.
The request is
Oh, I'm sorry.
to,
So it's for $11,140 out of the open space grant.
so is that currently in the budget as a line item, or do we need to do something specific with it?
It's currently budgeted under the general government expenditures on the treasurer's report, account 5198, Literacy Park Grant, CPMP, which is Community Park and Playground Grant. So the only thing you need, so the money's there, you just need to approve the contract due to the value of the contract. Requires council approval.
Okay, so
do we-
I'll request for the motion and then we'll open it up for discussion. So I'd like to request a motion to approve the 11,140 for the electric meter on the Literacy lot.
Councilmember Melinda Mendoza, I'll make that motion stated.
Councilmember Brooks, second.
Harden, second.
So I'd like to open it up for discussion. Is there any discussion?
So in the contract, town administrator, it says that they will not be doing the reseeding and regrading. Do we expect a lot of damage to the area? That would be necessary expense?
I'm sorry, did you say, is that the reseeding, regrading? Is that what you said?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so they worked with Pepco on putting the location. The location, as I noted in the work session, was up at that where the entrance is to Taco Bell. There's an existing tree there and a pole. And so that upper, if you're looking at the map, that upper right-hand corner is where they'll be placing the box to minimize the cost with Pepco and to minimize the amount of damage that would be done to the location. So there should be very minimal really digging of much at all.
Okay, so it should all still be covered within the open space grant.
Yes.
Second question, it suggested no allowance for any charges that Potomac Electric Power Company may charge. So how do we gauge that so that if we do go over, we have a plan B, but how do we stay under budget to make sure that, they don't kind of nickel and dime us and keep on adding charges?
Under budget in what sense? So
this
currently there's
is
$30,000 still allocated under the open space grant. This only takes up 11,140 of that. The Pepco has charges. They're just not, I'm not aware of what they are. The company doesn't know yet either, but they shouldn't be, it should be definitely far less than what they're charging.
Okay, so we should still be within our cap. Okay.
So yeah.
Okay. Those are the only
Any
questions
other
I have.
discussion? If there is no further discussion, I'd like to call a vote. So all in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, say nay. Okay, thank you. And then the next item on the agenda is the ARPA realignment. Oh, so this is the request. So we're not ready to discuss it tonight, so I'd like to request that we move to table this until the November work session, which is, when is the November work session? It's on the 7th of November. So I'd like to request a motion to table that until the November work session, which is on the 7th.
Councilmember Melinda Mendoza, I'll make that motion stated.
Councilmember Harden, I'll second that motion.
Any discussion on this?
Our work session falls on the election day. Will there be any conflict? Do we need to move the work session?
It's election day in Maryland? Is it for congression? Is it?
Well, I just on my calendar that I'm looking at, so I'm just like wondering if that's what if there's any elections happening.
I don't think so. I think that there might
Okay.
be elections in Virginia,
Okay.
but I don't think that we have any elections.
Okay.
I don't think we have any elections in November. Yeah, I don't think there's any elections in November in Maryland or in Prince George's County.
All right, then I guess there's no conflict. Then the 7th would be the work session day.
But I like the way you think.
Thank you.
Okay, so all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Before we adjourn, I want to say thank you. I want to give a big shout out to Council Member Jolene Ivy. So before I came to the meeting tonight, she was hosting a Hispanic Heritage Celebration in Edmonston, and she presented a lot of the local Hispanic elected officials with a certificate of recognition. And to be quite honest with you, she's the only one that has recognized the Hispanic community in Prince George's County. So I want to say thank you to Jolene Ivy and just also reiterate how important it is for representation. So take a look at this table. It's not homogenous. We have the Filipino community represented, the Jamaican / African American community represented, the Caribbean community, South American, Hispanic, and then we have a couple of Caucasians on the dais. So just want to say thank you again to Councilmember Ivy, and I hope to see you guys at the spooky spectacular event that we'll be having. I'd like to request a motion to adjourn our meeting.
Councilmember Harden, I'll make that motion.
Councilmember Brooks, second.
Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Thank you so much. We're adjourned.